And get them out, hold them up. That's your Sideline Pass. Is good now like it is each and every week right here on the Sideline Buzz and the Coaches Show on Buzz TV. Thanks for joining us like you can every Tuesday with Coach Lenny Jankowski, also the athletic director over at Vero Beach High School. Coach, welcome in.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Always good to see everybody.
You look relaxed.
Yeah.
No flannel shirt on today. No laid back Magnum PI shirt. Because bye week's over.
Yeah, bye week's over. So yeah, we're back in professional gear and back to the normal routine.
You know, it kills me as I was all ready to talk about how great the weather's been and it rained on your way in here. And you feel like Woodstock right now from Charlie Brown, like whenever it gets close to game time, the cloud follows you.
Yeah, that's been our typical weather pattern for this season. But we'll see. I think Friday, the forecast looks pretty good, and as you mentioned, practices we've been lucky with the weather here lately. So. Things are going good.
It's been great. So you had bye week. You got a lot of practice, a lot of weightlifting. I heard from the kids, and during bye weeks, typical bye weeks, you have some colleges visiting. And I saw Calvin Moment got a nice offer from Robert Morris College.
Yeah. So he was able to pick that offer up this weekend. Very well deserved. He's had a very nice career, so far in his high school years, and obviously we're looking forward to him. Playing well, and we're going to need him to play well. This second part of our season. A
lot of players, especially seniors like Calvin, they're really stressed out about that. Especially when it gets into the season halfway through, they might not have got a legitimate offer. They feel, they're not getting their respect.
Right.
Maybe they play with a chip on their shoulder. Do you ever find that the players, once they get that initial offer, they kind of relax, they get back into their game?
Yeah, I think so. It's such a tough deal. Recruiting is such an inexact science, and I think more than the players, the parents really get uptight. And I have a preseason meeting with our parents all the time, and I said, if I can just give you one piece of advice, allow yourself to enjoy your son's senior year, because it is a very enjoyable time. And if you get caught up in all those things that are out of your control, out of my control, out of your control, and what we're talking about is the recruiting process, then you get caught up in that and you can't enjoy what's happening.
Exactly.
So we're in the middle of a great season. Have had a lot of really fun games. Have gotten big contributions from all of our seniors. But as we get further into the season, our players, our parents, everybody that's involved with that, they start feeling a little of that pressure. And it's not a big recruiting time right now. It really is not. When you think about it, the guys that a lot of people don't realize this, the guys that are recruiting for the colleges are their coaches. Mm-hmm. They don't have designated recruiters. It's their coaches. And so when their full focus is on them playing on Saturdays, they're preparing and practicing and doing all the things that they've got to do to get ready for Saturday. They're not spending a lot of time or as much time as they do on recruiting as they might in the spring or after their seasons or after our seasons. And so typically this time of the year is not a big recruiting time, but you do start to sense it with, like I said, sometimes with the players, but more often than not the parents.
It's a season that lasts. We talked to Connor Moore a long time ago about that, a couple of years ago, one of your first guys that you had when you moved here. And but then it leads me to the Palm Beach Garden thing, because when you think about the season that lasts, when you lose a game like you did, that leads me to the picture behind us, with the magazine coming out. But it stinks, because as the season lasts, the senior loses a full game, that really hurts them,
Yeah, because again, it's not like a sport. I think you've said this many times on our show. You have 10, 11 games.
Right.
You lose a game, that's 10% of your season. It's not like you lose a baseball game.
Right.
Which you can easily make up later. Here, you can't make them up. But I have a question for you. Since we have this magazine coming out, and you can get it everywhere. Friday, Chick-fil-A, 14 Bones, Brain Freeze, all around town. Can you over prepare, or can you never prepare enough?
Well, that's a great question. I'd like to think that. I think you can think yourself to death. I think you can worry, and your wheels start spinning, and maybe overanalyze things instead of just looking at the obvious. And I've kicked it around with bye weeks, on how much we need to, a lot of things like, do we need to be more physical? Do we need to take a little bit of the physicality out of practice to get healthy? And so I think sometimes that just depends on where you're at in your season. What we did with our bye week is we went Monday through Thursday. We had great practices, in my opinion. We didn't do a lot of physical, bringing guys to the ground, but we did go and do a lot of full speed drills, and our guys were running around, flying around. I felt like the focus and the concentration was where it needed to be. The thing that I always worry about is the Monday following the bye week.
Right.
That's typically been, if I looked at, my 21 years of coaching, the Monday following the bye week is usually a horrible practice. Just, for whatever reason.
Right.
You usually have an extended weekend. You've started in preparation mode the week before. Whatever it was that you were working on is a little bit of a carryover, because like we talk about with football, starting a new week is almost like starting a new season. So that Monday out, and I was proud of our guys. We went out yesterday and we had a nice practice. Not the best I've ever had or we've ever had, but it was a nice solid practice, and we hope to finish strong this week.
The bye week hangover, as Coach will not call it. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a break. After these messages, we'll come back. We're going to start talking about the Central game. It's Central Week, Rivalry Week, right here on the Buzz TV show, Coach's Show. Thanks for joining us.
Join us for an adventure weekdays at 4:30 and 8:30 on Buzz TV Network. Stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics in downtown Vero Beach. Owner Patty Callahan prints it all, from color and black and white copies to blueprints, banners, signs, prints of paintings, and fine art. Patty makes restorations and creates outstanding graphic designs. Call Patty at 770-1521 or stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics at 2345 14th Avenue. Stop by for all of your printing needs at Patty's Printing and Graphics across from the old railroad station in downtown Vero Beach. Buzz TV Network is now the fastest growing new media outlet on the Space and Treasure Coast. Follow Buzz TV Network and tell a friend.
And welcome back to your weekly Coaches Show right here on the sideline at Buzz TV. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to check out Coach Lenny Jankowski and us knuckleheads the sideline as we break down all Vero Beach High School football. Coach, we were just talking about the bye week and what goes into really coming off that week and going into the preparation for the next week. And we're talking about the magazine behind us that comes out this week. And that was the week in which I got to shadow you. I drove you absolutely insane, but I learned so much about the program and yourself. And I ask you every week, I'm like, Coach, you got this team, and you always answer with, listen, we're not going to prepare any different. Mm-hmm. And I saw that firsthand. I mean, you took it exactly like you've always done before. You take the film, you break it down, you get your boys ready to go through practice. But there's something about Central, Coach. Yeah. I don't care what you say. I know it's not going to change your preparation, but there's something in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think everybody, our communities, their communities, and just what's happened over the last 4 years, with the games being great games, I think, and I'm not knocking any of the other teams in the area, of course, but I think, we've been two teams that have been very consistent. Right. And a lot of talent on both sides, and their coaches do a great job. And so, I think that the build-up and the hype is, some of it's well-deserved, and some of it just comes with the territory. We're certainly excited. I know that they will, get a great, we'll get their absolute best effort, and hopefully they get ours. And it's what rivalry games are all about, I guess. And there's a little bit more at stake from a few years ago when we got into the same district, and so now there's playoff hopes alive and all that for both schools, and there's a lot at stake. So we prepare as we usually do, but I think everybody recognizes, without having to say an extra word about it, that there's a little bit at stake here.
Absolutely. It's Dolphins Patriots. It's Buccaneers Saints. Okay. It's Giants Dallas. I mean, that's the kind of rivalry this is. And 5 years ago, it just worked out, Coach, because not only did you come here, but Schaefer went there. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a new beginning for this rivalry renewed, and it's been great. The games that have happened back and forth along with, and now we'll be on the road. So even though it's a road game that's like 10 minutes away, how do you prepare your kids that way?
I'm just trying to, Derek, the Buccaneers Saints.
That's not a real rivalry. In your head it is. like Red Sox, Yankees, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. I might have gone there. New Orleans, Tampa Bay.
Florida, Georgia?
Not so much.
Like tuna fish peanut butter? I mean, what do you want from me?
But
for it to be a rivalry, you got to win a game.
I tried to sneak it in there.
yeah, we got you. We'll be going down to Fort Pierce. Doesn't change up our routine that much. It's not a big long drive or anything like that. We've played plenty of games down there, whether it be a freshman JV game. Obviously, we've played a couple times down there against Fort Pierce, and so I think we know how to get there, and we'll get there on time and go through regular warm-ups as we usually do. They'll have a place for us to dress and talk to our team at halftime, and I know that our 12th man we'll need everybody to be down there and our community to be down there, and I'm sure they will. I've had people ask me all kinds of questions about it already this week, and so I'm excited. It'll be a fun time. I know our kids are looking forward to it, and as is everybody else.
Now the bye week was set up perfectly just before the big game of the year, I think. And I mean, everybody circles it on your schedule. Was that strategically placed, or that just happened to work out when you were scheduling?
And you know what? It just happened to work out. Bye weeks, when you're scheduling, in a sense, 11 games, including the Kickoff Classic. Some of those are designated for whatever. You got your district weeks. You've got the Kickoff Classic, and this year we've got our Sebastian game as our last game. So then you put the pieces in where they fall. It just so happened that with our schedule working out, a lot of people said, "Well, did you plan on having the first 7 games at home and then going on the road and doing it?" And really, it just worked out that way. You got to try to put all that together, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult when you're talking about a Friday night as opposed to, as we mentioned, other sports. You can play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday through Saturday, basically. So we're trying to put in 10 games in 11 weeks, and that's where the bye week fell, and we'll see how it works. I don't have any predictions yet. It's the first time that's happened, so we'll see how it works, and hopefully we've taken advantage of it.
I'm trying to stay calm. I know it's only Tuesday, but I'm freaking out over here. Rivalry week is the one I've had circled. I can't wait for this game. Now, the cool thing about bye week is you get a whole extra week for kids to get healthy. Anything changing that? We're up against close to a break, but is there anybody that sticks out in your mind right now?
Well, we should get Harrison Wood back this week, and so we're excited to get him back on the offensive line, and with that, we had a couple other guys go down during the Treasure Coast game. So we hope that those guys are able to get back. They haven't been on the practice field as much, but we're hoping. We're still early in the week and hoping to get those guys back and healthy.
And get them out of the Red Cross unit, as Coach calls them. You can learn more about that. Make sure you pick up the magazine that hits newsstands on Friday. We pass them some out of the game, so make sure you jump on the bus, get in the car, however you're going to get there. Get to Longwood for kickoff 7 o'clock, right there at Calvin Triplett Field. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're talking X's and O's with Coach Jankowski and the Jimmies and Joes right here on the Coaches Show, Sideline Buzz TV.
Attention, this important message is for any American who is about to turn 65 years of age or older. Nation's Helpline has Medicare supplement insurance news that may benefit you, your family, or someone you know. Most Americans who are about to turn 65 years old know they need Medicare supplement insurance, even if they already have Medicare. The Nation's Helpline Medicare Supplement Team can guide you and help answer your Medicare questions. Call today.
Please call 800-632-2804.
The Furniture Man is a locally owned business that has served the needs of the community of Vero Beach and Indian River County for over 30 years. Here at the Furniture Man, we offer fine pieces to furnish each and every room of your home. Specializing in Floridian style, come browse our selection of bedroom, dining room, patio, and living room. Come explore over 10,000 square feet of showroom, where you can find mattresses, recliners, sofas, dining, and more. Visit us at 673 US 1 in Vero Beach, Monday through Saturday for all of your furniture needs.
And welcome back. It's the Coaches Show right here on the Sideline and Buzz TV. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to get right into it. We got the big rivalry game. Central Vero's going on the road down to Fort Pierce to take on the Fighting Cobras. The Fighting Indians versus the Fighting Cobras. If you do it, I think the Indians win. Anyway, Coach, let's get to it. X's and O's. I want to start on the defensive side of the ball. They come in with some really big dudes. You got Greg Simmons that starts off in the middle, a Nebraska commit. They like to look at a 4-3 look, a little cover 2. You know it better than I do. What do we look? to get through them?
Yeah, I think they'll end up being multiple defensively. That's usually what we get is we'll get some different looks depending on down and distance, field zones, different things like that. I mean, fortunately they've had the same coaching staff as we have, so we've got years of looking at them and studying tendencies and things like that. My favorite part of coaching is the preparation. I think that's at least for me, something that I really enjoy. So we spent some time looking at them. They're very talented. Have a lot of guys. I don't know, 5 or 6 D1 commits on that defensive side of the ball. I think one of our local sports writers, John Santucci, said it's the best front 7 that he's ever seen, kind of thing. So we know that we have our hands full. They're good across the D line. We like to think that we've got some decent players as well, and I mean it should be a great game. But I do expect them to be multiple. I think that they'll be multiple in their coverages. I don't think we'll get the traditional vanilla look that sometimes people that they'll give to people from time to time. I think we'll get a variety of looks, and we'll just have to be ready for it.
They got big William Davis down low and Anthony Knight on the end, and you get Harrison Woods back at the right time because Coach Paris raves about the kid, how great of a blocker he is. Mm-hmm. So that's going to strengthen up the offensive line, which is going to be a key in the game. Yeah,
I think when we can talk about scheme and preparation and all that, and usually what it ends up coming down to is very fundamental. Who blocks, who does the best in blocking, who tackles better, and that you can probably sum it up there. Whoever is doing those things right, that usually wins the game. And there are obviously some other variables that will come into play, but it'll be a fundamental game, and like I said, I think that I know that our guys will be ready. I would anticipate that theirs would be ready, and another boring coaching cliche, but the team that makes the fewest mistakes will probably win.
That's for sure. You saw that in the Treasure Coast game, the only district game they've lost thus far. They gave up 271 yards on the rushing side of the ball, but it was the 2 picks that really inevitably bit them.
Oh, no doubt, and that was a game that I'm sure they'd look at that they'd love to play it 9 or 10 more times, and the outcome might be different, but they turned the ball over. Hats off, of course, to Treasure Coast for I'm sure that they had something to do with that. Right, and then they were able to control the ball and made it difficult, made all those offensive opportunities that much more critical, and so when you turn it over, and the other team is able to take it from you and control the clock a little bit, that makes it difficult. So I'm sure a lot of that will come into play Friday night.
Look at it. Treasure Coast got 271 yards rushing. William Bobo had most of those. You look at Poma from Centennial, went over 100 last week against them, but Central got the win. How much does that play to Akeem Dixon and what he'll see on Friday night? Because he's got 13 touchdowns, 14 total on the year. He can definitely tote the rock.
Right. It's always a big part of our game plan is, we want to be able to run the football if that gives us the best opportunity. I know that, a lot of times we get viewed as a team that is just going to throw it around all over the place, but we're looking to, do whatever gives us that best opportunity to not only move the football but get in the end zone. And Akeem he's a great player, having a great year, and so I've got the utmost confidence in Akeem.
It's hard to believe as we sit here and talk about him. He's only a sophomore.
Right. A 15-year-old sophomore, that kid's a beast. So he's a lot of fun to coach, as all our guys are, and super proud of him. He's like I said, he's a great kid on top of being a very good player. He's an unbelievable person and doing well in all phases. So I'm super proud of him.
And you got some thunder to his lightning with Jeremiah Pearson coming from Georgia.
Right.
And then you've also got MJ you like to move around out there. So you got a bunch of different options that you can hit Central in the mouth with.
Yeah, we've got some guys that we can turn around and hand it to, and we've got some guys that we can pitch it out there and let them catch it a little bit. So, I think the key is, as you mentioned earlier, we've got to be able, when we're throwing the ball, we got to be able to protect the quarterback, and when we're running it, we got to open some holes up. So, that's a lot, easier said than done.
Absolutely.
So, we've got our hands full, and we need to have some, several more good practices and get those under our belt and see what we're ready for Friday night.
Look forward to it. We got kickoff at Calvin Triplett Field down there in Longwood Stadium in Fort Pierce. I cannot wait to see that game, Coach. As you know, I'm freaking out. I know it's only Tuesday. I know you have to tell me all the time. But I am ready to rock and roll. We talk the offensive side of the ball. When we come back, I want to talk some defense and see how they're going to line up against us, what we need to do to stop. And there's an ultimate battle I'm looking for in the trenches. The one-on-one that everybody's talking about, we're going to talk about when we come back. Don't go anywhere after these messages. It's the Coaches Show on Buzz TV.
Freddie Wilfrick and Gregory Simpson invite you to Spotlight, Indian River, weeknights at 6:30 and 10:30.
Now that health reform is law, you cannot be denied health insurance coverage, but you can pay too much.
As a single mom, I was convinced that we could not afford health insurance until I spoke to the people from ICANN, who told me that I qualified for a special enrollment and a subsidized rate. Now I get so much more for so much less.
Call now and get the ICANN mobile app free. So don't wait another minute. Call ICANN, get covered, save money.
Marsha.
Hi, I'm Penny Chandler.
I'm Freddie Wolford.
I am Barbara Hoffman.
And I'm Gregory Simpson.
I'm here with Police Chief David Curry.
You're in good company on VeroBuzzTV.com, Vero Beach's local TV station on the internet.
I just love it.
Tell a friend.
We love y'all!
All right, welcome back. It's the fourth quarter. It's the final turn in the Coaches Show this week of Central. It's Central versus Vero, Friday night, Longwood Stadium, Calvin Triplett Field. The Fighting Indians taking on the Fighting Cobras. Coach, we are definitely ready for it. We talked the offense. Let's talk the defensive front. I think everybody's waiting to hear about it. It's Patrick Belton versus Stuart Reese, and what a battle this could be.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys have gotten, top billing, since, probably since the spring, and for this area as being the top two players, and they may get an opportunity to go against each other. Stewart predominantly plays their left tackle position, and he's number 51. I don't think anybody could miss him. I mean, he is a presence. He's a big dude and obviously super talented. And Patrick will, have an opportunity to line up on him. We move Patrick around a little bit, but he'll definitely have opportunities, or they'll have opportunities to go against each other. So that'll be interesting to see. I mean, there will be a lot of other things happening, and I don't know that I'll get to zero in on those two guys battling, as the things happening. But I'll certainly get an opportunity to watch it on film after the fact, and that'll be interesting to see how all that plays out, because they are super talented, and both guys and great kids. I've gotten the opportunity over the years to know Stu a little bit, just in passing, and it seems like he's got his act together. And as we know, Pat's one of the when you break things down and percentages, and I always describe Pat like this. He's in the top 1 percentile of just human beings. He's just a really cool kid and has his act together as well. So it should be fun.
Two young men that's going to be in a battle that have bright futures ahead of them.
Oh, no doubt. And I don't think either one is decided yet.
Neither one's
we were
picked
talking
the college,
about recruiting earlier, and so that should be interesting. After the high school season, to see how all that plays out.
It'd be it's nice for, I think, Patrick a little bit, because his dad legacy at the U probably pushed him a little bit that way. The coach just got fired, so now you got to relax a little bit.
Yeah, I was unfortunately I was at the in a lot of different ways. Unfortunately, I was at the last game of Al Golden's tenure down there. I went down and saw some of that game Saturday with Miami and Clemson. Yeah. Boy, that was a one-sided deal for sure.
Before we move on, I mean, is Clemson the best team pound for pound right now?
Wow, I told somebody everything they did worked.
Yeah.
It was and it wasn't like they were just doing one thing over and over again. It wasn't like, okay, we're going to hand the ball to our tailback or let our quarterback run or throw the ball over the park. I mean, they were from the gadget plays to the quarterback runs to everything that they did worked offensively, and then defensively they just were able to stone Miami's offense. Of course, it didn't help Miami's matters when Kaya went down pretty early in the game. But right. The game had started getting one-sided at that point as well. So it was I got to confess, I left at halftime.
Confessions are happening on the show, Derek.
Now, you talked about it in the earlier segment about the familiarity with the other team and their coaching staff and the kind of plays they run. Do your players get caught up with that? Because they're kind of familiar with the other players that they've been playing against year after year. Does that sometimes factor in?
You know what? I don't know. I was explaining this to somebody earlier in the week that I don't know that anything that happened last year has anything to do with what happens this year.
Right.
You know, it's and really I could even go a step further and say what happened last week. I mean, it's a whole nother week, and matchups are totally different. You got injuries that you made it. You might not have had the week before that you do now, or vice versa. You get a guy back, and there's so many different things that come into play that I never get caught up. I learned this the hard way as far as getting caught up in score comparison, in comparing scores. That it really has a zero on the outcome that you're looking for, further down the year, or in this particular week. So I don't know how much anything from last year has to do with what is going to happen. I would say zero. Other than we know each other as coaches, our players know each other, not necessarily even from last year, but with all that we do in the off season, right. we run into those guys in different 7-on-7s at different camps and things like that. And then with the explosion of social media, I mean, our kids are able to communicate with each other, and they know what their guys are doing and what our guys are doing, and so there's a lot of familiarity. I just don't know that it has anything to do with what's going to happen in the game.
No, that's for sure. You don't need locker room talk anymore. It's right there on Twitter.
Right.
You don't need to look very far to get anything to hype you up. All right, Coach, we're up to a minute left in the show. What are the 3 keys to winning this football game?
I would start with the turnovers and penalties. I think that the team that wins the game needs to do better than the other in those areas, and I'll categorize those as one. And then I think whatever team is able to establish the run game is, and I don't talk about that often, but I think their running back and their run game has really exploded here lately. So we're going to have our hands full trying to stop that. I think that we've got the ability to run the ball, and so I think that'll be important. And then the last thing, I think that when it all comes down to it, I think there will be the opportunity to make big plays in special teams, and so we're going to need to make sure that we work hard in that area this week.
Well, Coach Jay, good luck. We'll see you Friday night for kickoff. Don't forget Calvin Triplett Field, Longwood Stadium. Don't miss it. 7 o'clock kickoff. If you're not there, you're SpongeBob SquarePants. You didn't make it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here next week on the Coaches Show, Sideline, and Buzz TV.
Attention! This important message is for any American who is about to turn 65 years of age or older. Nation's Helpline has Medicare supplement insurance news that may benefit you, your family, or someone you know. Most Americans who are about to turn 65 years old know they need Medicare supplement insurance, even if they already have Medicare. The Nation's Helpline Medicare supplement team can guide you and help answer your Medicare questions. Call today.
Please call 800-632-2804.
Get them out, hold them up. That's your sideline pass is good now, right here on Buzz TV, coming to you every Tuesday through Friday, where we'll have a Coaches Show with Coach Jankowski as we break down all that's happening with Vero Beach High School football.
And then we're also going to have the Sports Buzz Show, where we're going to talk about local and national trending topics.
And maybe some of his diet and how not to eat like him. Be like me, coming straight out of Indian territory. It's the Sideline Show, and you can find us right here on Buzz TV.